The star of Constellation, which so many people are enjoying on Apple TV, available on Roku, Noomi Rapace here on The Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Let's get into it. Constellation, you're an astronaut who returns to Earth after a disaster in space, and stuff happens. Stuff
happens.
Stuff happens. What a wild show this is. When you first read a script, what was your first thought when you first read the idea of Constellation?
I felt that Peter Harness had been studying me. So Peter Harness is a British writer who lives in Sweden with 3 kids and a Norwegian wife on a farm that is like 30 minutes from the farm where I grew up, which is so weird. Like the coincidence is like strange.
Because you are Swedish.
I'm Swedish-Spanish.
Okay.
My father was Spanish, my stepdad Icelandic. So I've been moving around, but I just felt like this was kind of written for me. And it was too many things that were so close to home. And I fell in love with the story and the character. And also I was kind of frightened by the aspects of different dimensions of life and what is true, what is truth.
And it's tough to figure out when you're watching this show.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
It keeps you alert. You need to pay attention.
Exactly. And again, as I mentioned, it's available on Apple TV, available on Roku. And, you know, we'll talking a little bit further about this in a minute, but I want to thank you for being here. Normally I say that at the end of an interview, but guys, I don't know if you recall, but Noomi was supposed to be here a few weeks ago, and I think were you on your way to the studio?
I was in the car. Okay. Yeah. I've been in the car for like 45 minutes when I got the call.
Oh my God. Oh no. And the call was, well, listen, a manhole cover exploded outside of our studio and knocked out power to all of El Segundo. Yep. And we couldn't do the interview.
Yeah.
Now, straight up, again, we just met, but I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
Did you think that I was trying to get out of doing it, or did you believe like a manhole cover had exploded, or
no?
or
it just felt really unreal. And then I was like, wait, what? I can go there. I mean, sure, it's gonna be on in like half hour. And they're like, no. The building, like, it's dead. Like, there's no lights anywhere. So I was like, okay. And I left the next day. I went back to Europe. So I was like, but I really love your show. I really do.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I really wanted to come, and now I'm here.
But the fact, because again, you know, I would say you could ask the LA Lakers if I was lying, because their offices are down the street, and the whole area just went out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I
don't know. There's something like, I don't know if there's been like higher powers trying to stop us to do this, but like when I was flying in from New York a couple of days ago, I had to emergency land twice in St. Louis, Missouri. Twice.
Hold a second. So you had to make an emergency landing twice in the same city?
Yes. Different aircrafts. Flew from New York after 2.5 hours up in the air. They're like, we have a situation. We need to emergency land in St. Louis, Missouri. Went down, spent like a good 8-9 hours there. They flew in a new aircraft from Houston. We boarded the aircraft, went up. After 10 minutes, it's like, we have a situation.
On this one too?
Yeah. I had to turn around, and I had to spend the night in St. Louis.
So you being up in the air and then having life different on the ground is not just your television show,
exactly,
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of a specialty.
But we got through it.
We're here, yeah.
Because it's kind of, just to say, hey, listen, we can't do the interview because a manhole cover exploded. It does sound too wildly specific to sound real. Yeah. You know, so I appreciate you accepting.
But now I know it was the truth.
The truth is out there in a manhole cover. But that actually did happen.
Yeah.
You know,
witnesses.
It's funny. Back in the day, I don't know if this is oversharing. You know, I was in high school and I wanted to take a particular classmate of mine out on a date, and she said, I can't make it because my family and I are going to Sarajevo this weekend. And I thought that was too oddly specific of a country outside of the United States to be real. I'm like, if you don't want to go out,
just tell me. Just tell me. Yeah.
You know?
Did she go to Sarajevo?
She apparently did, and then we never went out. So now the fact that We've gotten through the
Yeah.
manhole
We
cover
healed an old trauma in you.
and we are now here, finally getting to meet one another and talking about your show. Again, Constellation on Apple TV. We've had Jonathan Banks on this program, a huge fan of his. He's a co-star on this program of yours. What was it like working with somebody who's been a legend in this business? A lot of people obviously know him from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. What was it like for you?
I mean, watching him, it's just a masterclass. I got lost sometimes just like looking at him. I remember we were shooting a scene and the coverage was on me and he was, you know, kind of going in, describing something, talking about like, you know, angels up in space. And I was just like looking at him and then it's like goes quiet. And I was like, it's me. I completely lost myself in him and forgot that I had to answer him. I mean, he's just incredible. There's some mystery going on. Like it's like this weird, strange balance, or it's a contradiction. He's like has like tenderness and violence mixed, and you kind of want to lean in and just be like, you know, you kind of want to be on his side and be protected by him, but he's also slightly scary. So he's just an incredible, like, I don't know what he do and how he does it, but I want to learn.
You know, I felt the same way getting to meet him as well. And then I think he set the record for cursing the most on live radio and TV as well.
We've
on
been
this
doing
program.
press junkets together.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what was more, I guess, disconcerting for you, working with him like that or Zero Gravity?
Oh, Zero Gravity was a lot. I was alone up in that aircraft. Basically, like the ISS, we recreated the ISS, so it's a replica. It's
the International Space Station that's in this show. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So the conditions I worked in was really kind of, it was narrow, it was hard work. We had a whole team and there was no floors to be, because in the space station, you know, you float, so you're not supposed to walk.
Well, I mean, there's no reason to have a floor,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So it was really, it was intense. It was long days. It was very physical.
So how did you mimic Zero Gravity?
I was on wires. I think I had like 3 months of preparation.
Wow.
Just like strengthening my core muscles, my neck muscles, because I need to like hold myself up. You know, it's like standing in plank for hours.
Okay.
So, and it was very exhausting. And, you know, in the end of the day, my body was just like taking.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I would say that, you know, working with Johnny or floating, floating is harder. Jonathan Banks is one of those actors that you just, every takes is different. And he's mesmerizing.
Mm-hmm. And so, wow. So did you work with astronauts? Did you speak with astronauts?
Scott Kelly, who's kind of quite famous American astronaut. He was our man on set. Like he was there doing rehearsals. He was there when we were shooting. And it was extremely important for us. Michelle McLaren, the director of the first block, who I absolutely love and adore. She's a very stubborn, passionate director, and she really wanted to get it right. And so did I. So we really kind of worked hard to make it feel credible and realistic. And Scott was, you know, our truth teller. You know, I was terrified when he was on set.
Wait, why?
If he would come in and say, like, I don't believe in the floating, that's not how we do it. You know, it's like, and I worked so hard to make it look real.
Yeah, but I've been working on my abs and my neck muscles, Scott. Give me a break, man. Come on now.
Yeah. But it was really a dance, you know, because it's like me and the whole team, you know, amazing camera department. And we had to time everything perfect. And there's a guy sitting with a remote control up in that corner, looking at my movements, giving cues to someone else who's giving cues to the camera team. So everything had to be synchronized and be perfectly timed. So it was a big machinery.
Fantastic. And again, that's available on Apple TV, Constellation, which is available right here on the Roku platform. I have Noomi Rapace here on the Rich Eisen Show. How'd you get in acting? How did that happen? So you're growing up in Sweden? Is that what
Iceland. It started in Iceland.
So in Iceland.
Iceland, yeah.
I grew up, I've been sharing a lot about my high school life with you.
Yeah, bring it on.
No, but I grew up in Staten Island. My neighbors were Icelandic, and they were just wonderful people.
They are.
They were great.
So I moved to Iceland when I was 4.5, and strangely enough, it just felt like coming home. I loved it. Something about the nature, the country, it's very powerful. And I have a strong energy, and I always felt a little bit like an outsider in Sweden.
Okay.
I was too loud, I was too emotional, I was too just said things straight up. And they was like, Swedish was like, can she just be a little bit less? And Icelandic people was just like, yeah, come on. Just.
You were too intense for Sweden? Is that what you're saying?
I felt so, yeah.
Okay.
I always kind of felt like I needed to. I didn't really fit in the lane how to behave. And Icelandic people are a bit louder, a bit more.
Okay.
They're just, I don't know, island people. They're very honest and straightforward. So I moved there, and then I ended up being an extra in an Icelandic Viking film. and you know.
By the way, Noomi, I've been fortunate to do this show almost 10 years, and when I ask people how did you get started, I've not been. So I just wound up being an extra Viking in an Icelandic movie, and that's how. I mean, that's,
one of the first scenes that I did was like running out of a building on fire, and I was 7 years old, and I had like dirt in my hair.
What do you mean? You're 7 years old on fire, running out of a building in an Icelandic Viking
I
movie?
was not on fire. The building was on fire. But,
okay, good. My bad. Thank goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have happened. But I was, I loved it. It was like, I felt like I entered a safe place of possibilities. I remember just, I didn't want to go home. I said to my mom, no, I'm not taking the clothes off. I'm keeping them. And she was like, they belong to the costume department.
Nice.
I was like, no, like I am this character. And, dirt in my hair. I was this like kind of, kid in the crowd who was dancing around a fire. And, it was a big kind of wedding party. And I think it was like 2 a.m. in the morning. And the director, everyone wanted to take a break because we were working like 17 hours or something ridiculous. And I kind of asked for a break, and the director was furious and said, like, what? We're working, don't you see? We're making art. And he was like, how old are you? I was like, 7, like it's 7. And he was like, see, she's not complaining. That's a real actress. And I was like, whew.
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's, listen, you can't just be a wallflower of thin skin if you play the lead of the girl with the dragon tattoo, which you did for the Swedish version of the film. Now that is some hardcore material.
Yeah.
Like for you to have to, I would think, to have to internalize and execute the role.
Yeah.
Like, I would imagine that's one of the toughest things you've ever had to do, right?
Yeah. It was like a year and a half of my life. And it felt like Lisbeth Salander was like holding my soul in a firm grip. And when I came out of that shoot, I remember like we wrapped and everyone was like euphoric and opening, popping champagne. And I was like, just went to the toilet and I was like throwing up and my whole body was just like,
really?
It was so strange. It was like exorcism. It felt like I was like, my body had to throw Lisbeth out of my system. And I came home and I remember we like felt really lost for a couple of weeks. And not really knowing who I was and what this character had done to me. So it was an intense a year and a half of someone else living in my system, a troubled person living in my system.
My goodness, a troubled person.
My goodness, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you play a role like that and that person becomes part of you, that could kind of mess with you pretty much.
It does, yeah. It does, yeah.
Right. So that's why I wanted to, mention that because obviously. Terrific. But what do you get mostly people run into you to say, hey, I enjoyed you in that or I enjoyed you in this? What do you get the most?
Weirdly enough, different in different countries.
Okay.
But I did a movie called, now it's Constellation, because a lot of people kind of are watching it and have seen
question.
It. But before that, What Happened to Monday? It's a movie where I play 7 sisters. It's on Netflix. And I play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Play 7 sisters.
Yes.
And that movie has a very strong following. And a lot of times, like I was like in this club in Paris, dancing, sweating, doing Fashion Week, and it was like hip hop and then 3 different random people, big dudes, come up to me. It's like, you're Monday, right? I love that movie. So it's like, so that one is strangely enough a movie that a lot of people have seen and a lot of people love and watch over and over.
So of all the days you get Monday more than any of the other days?
Because the movie is called What Happened to Monday.
I see.
But everyone seems to have a favorite of the different
Your favorite day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what is your favorite day?
I like it. So congratulations again on Constellation. The Emmy conversation is red hot surrounding this, not just you, but the show itself. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
that.
so much.
And thank you for being here.
I love being here.
And I think we've made it through in one piece. The lights
think
are
so.
on.
The lights are on.
Can you guys check on all the manhole covers around the community here to make sure
Are
that
everyone okay?
we're good?
Yeah,
They
we're
blew up.
good.
We haven't heard from the Lakers. No, everything's
No emergency landing.
all systems go. All systems go. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
You got to check out again Constellation on Apple TV, which is available right here on Roku. Don't miss it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.